Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. All right, so this week we've got some pretty fun minis coming our way, I guess, from GW. Yeah, some pretty cool ones. So we're going to look at, I guess, the main topic of today, which will be some squats, but we'll start with some Kroot because they've teased a new one which they didn't show previously for Kill Team, and it looks pretty sweet. So yeah, the Kroot are finally coming back, it seems. And I talked about this before, but you know, it's one of those factions that they never really dug into or developed much from their initial release way back in the olden times. And it's nice to see them finally going in and actually giving them some interesting flavor and some new minis. And Kill Team's a good I guess vehicle or showcase for that, because you know it's a bit like Warcry or Underworlds, those sort of games where you know you can really put a lot of character into each model and give them a bit more interest, you know, or like Necromunda and those kind of games. So I think this is a great one to, you know, test the waters and see how people like the new design directions and so on that they do for them. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting time if you're into Tau and Kroot and the other alien races that you know Tau can actually bring to the table. So yeah, we got the Kroot. So let's see. So the Kroot tracker doesn't go anywhere without her pet bird. Now I love pet classes. Anyone knows that's listened to me waffle on these news vids or other videos that I do know that I like pet classes and things like that. And this is no exception. This is a really fun one. So we've got the little, I guess, four-eyed bird. I'm assuming there's another two eyes on the other side. So that's really cool. And sitting on the gun there, you know, with your sort of, I guess, sniper or tracker or whatever kind of Kroot job that this one has. And yeah, it's super fun. So, you know, you're just getting into some different poses here. We've got, you know, the little Kroot kneeling this time, and rather than looking down the barrel of the rifle, which is your classic sort of pose for this sort of, I guess, design motif or idea, you have the little bird sitting on top of the gun. And yeah, look, it just, you know, they're trying to break out the mold of the usual poses, the usual things. And again, Kill Team's the perfect place to do things like this, as we see for things like Warcry and Underworlds, where you get a bit more characterful sort of poses and interesting sort of separations from the main games in terms of design. So we've got a few more little, you know, accessories going on this figure. We can't see the back, but I'm assuming there's some sort of cloak down the back there, and we've got little pouches and straps and so on. And yeah, it's a nice little addition to the warband that we saw initially for Kill Team. So you've got the little doggos, you've got the various types of Kroot that are all running around, the hunters and so on, and then we've got this one here with the bird. And I think that's great. Like it's pretty exciting for people that like this sort of thing. And yeah, I really like it as well. And it's going to be fun to play around with some color schemes on the flesh here. You know, do some different styles of Kroot. You know, maybe there are different factions, different subspecies that have different skin colors. I'm sure whenever they come out, they'll probably have a little bit of that background and lore to see what other sort of flesh tones that they do or give these. But just for your own personal hobby and so on, you can do a lot with these sorts of this sort of anatomy. You know, you've got the hard beak-like front and then moving into softer flesh. You know, you can do a lot of really cool fades with colors here. Yeah, a lot of fun really. So yeah, it's exciting time for the alien races in 40k for sure. So now we'll move on to the main I guess, offering today, and that's the squat. So we've got the Leagues of Votann. And a really interesting choice here. I didn't really think they'd go down this road, but here we are. We've got some, I guess, combat unit or something like that, these berserker sort of characters. It's interesting. I didn't really think that they'd, I guess it is kind of obvious because you've got sort of miners and so on, that sort of thing. So I guess this is sort of a thing, design road that you would go down if you're doing that sort of thing for the squads, which they sort of are. I talked about this before, you know, that I guess expeditionary force, you know, something where human beings would end up, you know, with the sort of the Land Rovers and all of this type of equipment, going into these hulks, into these sort of planets where they're mining and so on. And yeah, we see these sort of, they're almost like chain gang sort of style characters, but I know that they're not. The Leagues of Votann are very much into, you know, honor and so on. So everyone is, you know, given a place in the society, whether they be AI or robots, whatever, or the clones themselves. Yeah, so let's take a look. So yeah, really fun models. So I've heard people talk about this is sort of unique that you need for KO in AOS and that sort of thing, like a combat unit. Yeah, but I really do like what's going on here. I love the power fists, the bare chest. It's very dwarfish. Yeah, there's a lot of cool elements going on here, which I'm undoubtedly sure people will be converting and doing fun little swaps and so on for these models, because they're just begging for that sort of thing. Yeah, and I really do like the double power fist. It's pretty cool. And then we've got like the big hammer, all the classic sort of dwarfish thing that you would expect from models like this. We're getting it, tattoos, etc. The augments going into the side of the body there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, very much what you would expect from something like this for a dwarf, the big hammers and so on. So we are getting some traditional elements for dwarves here, as well as the sci-fi element, and it looks like they're going in with all of the I guess the sort of design directions that you could go in for an exploratory sort of force. So it's going to have all the various trappings of that design style. So we've got some nice interesting little armor plates here, lots of sockets for things to be plugged into and so on, lots of augments on the arms. Yeah, really cool. And this is interesting here. So the axe, I'll get this in shot a bit more for you so you can see it, but you can see how we've got like a non-bladed edge on this. So it's like a wide frontage. That's an interesting choice to do for a weapon like this. So I'm assuming this is some sort of like, almost like an oxy cutter or something like that, but for a bladed weapon. So maybe it's designed to, slice through thick plating or something like that, but not really actually meant for a weapon. They're sort of using this as a weapon, but it obviously has some sort of utilitarian purpose because of the way that the edge of that blade is made. I'm assuming it's an energy blade of some sort, but yeah, it's just an interesting design choice not to give it a sharpened end, and that hints at the utilitarian, I guess, usage of this thing outside of combat, right? And then we've got some nice little features on here. You've got the little mustache there and the goatee. We've got the augments in the eyes. Yeah, there's a lot here that's pretty fun, right? And will be fun to paint as well. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And we've got the side. Okay, this looks like another one here. We've got a second version of this weapon. Yeah, and we can really see the sort of the flat end here. And again, we've got some augments on the eyes and the head. Yeah, I'm liking this. This is looking pretty cool. I'd love to see some, I guess, more almost pallid or putrefied sort of flesh. I mean, these are clones. It'd be nice to see some sort of almost ghoulish type flesh tones for these on some of these. I think that'd be really fun, or at least around the areas where the augments have the flesh kind of discolored, purples and blues, that sort of thing, and then have your pinks and reds towards the sort of the more fleshy areas, that sort of thing. I think this could be a really fun one to play with different colors in flesh. I'm sure there'll be a lot of painters out there on Instagram and so on that will definitely explore those sorts of things, different lighting effects to change the way that their flesh looks. I think that could be really fun, especially for something that's like a clone army, essentially. Yeah, really cool. So yeah, a really fun bunch of models, and it's boding well again for, other factions or other styles of play for 40k, breaking up the usual meta, I guess. It should be a really fun time once these fully get released and we see the full breadth of what the faction actually has for us. I think it'll be really cool. So yeah, I'm going to leave you there. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I guess I'll catch you on the next one.